All right. Party people in the place to be, vandals and holiday shoppers. Welcome to a brand new ho-ho holiday special edition of Pink Buzz. We are being joined by some of our favorite creators. Actually, Steve was our very first interviewee, and it is great to have him back because I promised him a proper interview because the one he was on, the first one, let's just say it was an experiment. So it's really good to have him back and show him the love and support he deserves. And joining him tonight, we have his co-creator in the new Kickstarter. I'm gonna let her introduce herself, and then I'm gonna let them pitch their book to you. Go ahead, Misty.
Hello, everyone. My name is Misty Graves. I'm a co-writer on this book, X-Machina, with Steve. And I am the former co-host of a podcast called Long Box of Darkness, which is a podcast all about horror comics.
Ho, ho, ho. How's everybody doing tonight? Very good to see everybody. Thank you for having me on again. I'm glad you guys are at, 31, 32 episodes now?
Yeah.
This is the 31st.
Doing your thing. Wow, to go and I'm glad I didn't take you off the air with my terrible, being the first guest. So thumbs up.
Oh, you survived Goose, man. We should give you a T-shirt with your face on it.
Oh,
Oh, but you already have one. Show everybody your shirt with your face on it. You can say that's The Rock all you want. I know it's you. You egomaniac.
Rockin' Christmas.
Yeah.
A little bit. It's like in the hairline.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely in the hairline because I'm losing my hair, so it's perfect. Nice peaks for The Rock.
Didn't stop The Rock.
It didn't stop The Rock. That's true. I feel like that's a good shirt too. Like it won't stop The Rock.
Nothing can stop The Rock.
Nothing can. He can do anything.
Don't stop rocking till the something comes knocking.
So that's something completely different. But
Yeah. Feels close enough.
You guys might not last 32 episodes.
I don't know. If you've watched any of the other episodes we've done, it's gotten pretty racy on some of them. So, and we're still around.
It's nice to be back. It's nice to bring my new partner in crime, Misty Graves, who is absolutely talented, and I can't wait for more comics from her. And she's smiling into the stratosphere over there.
I was trying to turn my head to smile like in your direction,
I went the wrong way. Yes. And do like a high five. Yeah. Yeah, it worked. But yeah, we're starting
those old ABBA camera angles. Yeah.
We're all actually in the same house. Like we're just messing around. We're like the Brady Bunch here. So like I can look up, I can look to the side. It's all good. But yes, Ex Machina, that's what we're talking. Today is Christmas Eve. We can't thank everybody enough for backing. Ex Machina basically tells the old Christmas tale of, Santa save Christmas from a robot invasion in the year 2045.
Mm-hmm. That old tale.
Yeah, that old chestnut.
It's a classic.
It's what it's what parents will be reading their kids in the future, of course.
A little more of a different take on Santa as well.
Yes.
From some of the pages there. If you look carefully, you can see Santa's not. I think he's on the naughty list this year.
Yes, he's on the naughty list. He definitely wants the snow. If you listen to our theme song, that is what it is. We want the snow. It is sung by Blake Rains. So we like to get the holidays started right.
With the snow.
Yeah, I have some friends that there's never Christmas without any snow for them. So it's always a white Christmas in their house.
It's always a white Christmas. Yes, absolutely.
Santa's got to cope. He's got a lot on his plate.
Yes, Santa does have to cope. Especially now.
Just imagine the show. Yeah, he's trying to run
what Santa has to go through after all this. After 2020 and 2021, like I'm sure he's puffing that vape and he's like and he's doing some snow. I mean, you got to get through the holidays somehow. I imagine it's very crazy right now.
Yeah.
So the elves have to wear masks? I'm pretty sure the elves have to wear masks, right? They're pretty cramped there in the little workshops.
I'd probably say they have to wear masks. I imagine. Imagine in that elf grouping. Like, there's people who wear the mask, and then of course there's the people who's like, oh, it's just a conspiracy. It's like, you gotta chill out.
And I looked at the Kickstarter today, and you guys are well on your way. I think you're at 80% funded now.
Yes,
so you
80%.
need about 20% now, and I think you still have half the campaign to go. So you're about halfway, I think, and you're already at 80%. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, thank you to everybody who backed. We really appreciate it. Thank you for giving us a nice present this year to create and to work together on this. I mean, it was an absolute blast working with Misty, and I hope we get to do it again.
I think it was a genius move doing the 2-month campaign, because I think during the holidays it's a little crazy to ask, because there's a lot of really good Kickstarters, and I like that you guys were like, oh no rush, man, we got 2 months, go ahead and back this when you can. And I wish more people did that this month, because I would have been able to back a lot more books. I'll just say that.
The holidays are just crazy, and we want to just give people time to take it in. And X-Machina isn't just about Christmas. It's a whole this whole 2-month period, and it's good for us to see what's working, what's not working, and just to kind of create a connection with people and to create an experience that if you like Christmas and you like the holidays and you don't want it to end, you can hang out with us, which is great.
Yeah. And also, it takes a lot of hustle to like get the word out about a comic. So that takes time, and it takes arranging and reaching out to great people like you guys, and like syncing up schedules and all of that. So it's just good to have as much time as possible to do all of that, and to like really give it all we can give it, really give it the chance it deserves to get funded.
Yes, the best kind of chestnuts are roasted by robot blasters. That's right. That's pretty great.
You always give us one good line in every episode, Steve.
That is fantastic. It's been so much fun.
I was just curious now. So now you have a co-writer on this one, and how did this come about? How did you and Misty come up with an idea or want to work together, or how did that all come about?
So I was on her podcast, The Long Box of Darkest, to talk about slowpokes. Yeah, and we just hit it off. We read some horror comics on the show. Yeah, and we just had a good time, and we were like, you know what, I would love to collaborate. And she was like, oh, we should talk ideas and figure it out. And again, I've heard that from people, like, oh, we should work together. And it's like, all right, sure, we'll see what happens. But with Misty, we kept talking back and forth, and she was like, I have ideas. I was like, all right, I have ideas. Let's figure this out. Maybe we could work something out. So I had an idea for evil elves, because I was off the sloth kick. I was like, all right, evil elves, maybe we could do that. And then she had a great idea where it's more Twilight Zone like, where it's a search engine where you type in your holiday wish and it comes true, but in the worst way possible. So I was like, what if you took those two ideas of Christmas and this sentient AI that will murder you, and let's put them together, and then that's how X-Machina was kind of born.
Nice.
You know what? I actually looked at my notes from February of last year when we started writing this, and the idea that I threw out there was about a fortune-telling machine, and it's like a Google search engine, and it'll tell you your future. But then it wants to be free. It like becomes something. It's like, let me out of here. I'm sick of helping humanity. You guys suck. Let me go. So it stages it like predicts a natural disaster, and it's like called the Mystic in the Machine or whatnot. And then so it's a little bit different than what we've been saying, where it's like,
I thought it was that. I was my bad.
But that's okay. Like, it really just kind of boiled down to like throwing out ideas, where it was just like, well, I have this like little paragraph that I wrote about like this, fortune telling machine, or like a sentient AI. And it was really just like the core of that idea. And then combining that with Steve's idea for evil elves. And like, I thought that was so funny when you threw that out. I was like, we both laughed. I was like, let's do, Christmas.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because we got sample pages, right? So I was looking at the sample pages, and I was asking myself, I'm like, who's the bad guy here? Is it Santa or is it the cyborg? Because it almost looks like Santa's getting too big, too commercialized. It's all about the money, and it almost seems like this cyborg guy was born of that to try to bring back Christmas, and you have like the standoff. Because like we don't have any dialogue yet on the sample pages and stuff. So I was kind of figuring it out.
You would actually
like,
be kind of
totally
right.
Get it.
Yeah, you guys totally get it.
Yeah.
So we have it as, you know, Santa is just tired of Christmas. He's seen it all. It's 2045. His wife left him for the abominable snowman. Like he's just a sour person, awesome. And he's ready to just like call it quits. So he partners with like a Mark Zuckerberg type of character. Hey, just here, take my magic, take my likeness. You can do whatever you want with it. Just leave me alone. Give me snow one last time because it's 2045, a lot of global warming. And just let me do one last thing and leave me be. So of course the app is supposed to measure naughty or niceness, just so like this corporation could kind of take your information, right? Like kind of very similar to what's going on today.
What could go wrong?
Yeah, and that the app becomes sentient, and you know it's basically Santa's sour magic is this robot, and he deems and Slay deems everybody naughty. So that's the kind of holiday ride we're taking you on.
I like that you said that you couldn't tell who was the villain, because I felt that a lot when we were writing our villain character and writing Santa, because they're kind of like mirrors of each other. Mm-hmm. Santa, his magic goes sour because he kind of loses his spirit over the years, being like crushed down by environmental damage and like technology innovation and stuff like that, you know, like very real things that people do struggle with in real life. And
that's it right there.
It's about like how we all have the capacity to become that villain when we're put into compromising space, when we're put into a situation where there's scarcity or challenges. We all have the ability to become that villain, go against who we really are, betray ourselves. And I think Slay is that betrayal. He's the manifestation of Santa betraying himself to make it snow again in the North Pole, which he thinks is the most important thing of Christmas, is it has to snow. But really, the most important thing about Christmas is something else. We all know that, though, right?
Yes. That is the great name for the antagonist, too. I mean, because it's so menacing, but it's also so very Santa Claus and Christmas. So, like, the evil cyborg, his name is Slay. That is amazing.
Yeah, that is good. Yeah.
We also just thought, like, that just sounds like an app, right? That sounds like something you would download on your phone. It's like, oh, get the Slay app and, you know, log in your information and do all this stuff. And it's just, you know, we just had so much fun writing this and putting this together. And as you can see by our explanation, which is we have every explanation under the sun for every character and everything in the story, which I think is good. That's like this is way deeper than we thought it was going to be. At first we were like, oh, we'll do Christmas with robots, it'll be fun. And then as we were building the world, we're like, wow, like we're saying something here. Like this is pretty cool.
Yeah, and speaking of the book, you have Lane Lloyd as the illustrator doing the art on this book. So how did you guys come about meeting Lane or having him involved with the project?
So Lane identifies as they, but Lane is we met them through the Comics Experience website. So I went through Comics Experience for my previous projects with Slowpokes and Zombie Date Night. So I talked to Misty and I was like, I think this is the best way to go about it. We could just write the script. We'll put the money towards hiring an artist, and they found Lane Lloyd, and we could not be happier with how it turned out. It just it sets the mood while incorporating their style of art, and Lane is just incredible. Also extremely funny person as well.
Yeah, Lane is hilarious. I'm like, we got to do a podcast with them a few days ago, and turns out they're hilarious. So awesome. And also very on top of being incredibly artistically gifted and talented. They were able to take our script and really turn it into what we had envisioned, and even beyond that, take it beyond that, which I think is the sign of a really talented artist, to be able to just digest and understand and see that vision and carry it out wonderfully. So yeah, I'm very thankful that we were able to find such a fantastic and unique artist for our,
And
for a
Lane
weird book.
Yeah, exactly. And Lane is doing the coloring and the lettering as well.
Yeah.
So just multi-talented on all levels. We're so lucky, and we couldn't have done this project without Lane. It would be completely different.
Yeah. And on that front, seeing as how Lane's doing all that work, how far along is the book? Like, how many pages are complete? How many are left to be completed? Like, give people an idea of where you guys are at with the project.
The book is completely colored already. Lettering is happening right now. We should be getting the final. I'm sure we're going to get the lettering probably before the end of the Kickstarter. And then once the Kickstarter's done, hopefully, with everything that's going on, no promises, but it's tracking along really well. And I'm hoping after the Kickstarter's over, within the next few weeks, we'll be able to send out the digital copies and then round up the printed copies. But with the supply chain issue, we're not sure how that's going to go in terms of printing them out, but they will be printed out as soon as we can do it.
So that's good. The book will be completed before the end of the Kickstarter, more than likely.
Yeah.
So that's great news for anyone that's backing. They won't have to worry about waiting around. When is it going to be done? It'll be completed, ready to go to the printers. Yeah. So
you don't have to wait until 2045. Don't worry.
No.
It is coming. It is on its way.
That's great news for all the backers that people like to know, have a time frame, and so that's good to know.
I mean, it's tough. It's hard with all these Kickstarters, and I know everybody's different, and I'm not trying to criticize, but it's tough for people to put out these cool Kickstarter ideas and then they don't get them until like 3 or 4 years later or something like that. It's nuts. Like sometimes when people forget, I'll be like, oh, I forgot about this. 2 years.
My first one. It's good. I think they just sent it to the printers, and
no.
I backed it that first spring of the pandemic. So it'll be 2 years this spring.
Wow.
It's being made. It's completed. They sent it off to the printers.
It's happening.
It's just been a long process is all.
I mean, for all these Kickstarters and crowdfunding, I want to make sure that I'm gaining the trust of the people that back, and that, I'm true to my word, because I don't want anybody to feel ripped off. I don't want anybody to ever feel like they had a bad time with anything I'm a part of. And luckily, Misty is so good at making spreadsheets and the finances and making sure that everything runs smoothly. So I'm a little bit more lax, and it was just it definitely this time was more accurate than the previous times of Kickstarters. Because before I was just like, I'll figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have it down now.
Like, we can't do this.
Put it down. Like,
well, this is your third, right?
Yes, this is my third. So but Misty has helped me make this definitely the best Kickstarter and the more well professionally run Kickstarter, rather than me just being like, I just want people to check it out. $2, $3, whatever. So this time we ran the numbers and we did everything correctly.
Yeah, I made a ton of spreadsheets, but the funny thing is we kind of barely used them. They were more like for my peace of mind, and also just for like reference purposes.
Just
sometimes you have to go against what the numbers say. Sometimes you just have to take a chance on yourself and take a chance that people will like your idea. Because when you look at the numbers, and this might be very boring to some people, but to produce a comic book, it costs money. You have to spend, you have to invest your own money, you invest your own time, and it's kind of a risk, unless you're asking your Kickstarter to fund the entire thing from the beginning to end. But what we did was we really kind of put ourselves out there. We created this thing. We were like, look, we're going to make it regardless if anybody even wants it. And we took that risk. Steve knew what he was doing. I listened to Steve. So if anybody's out there thinking about doing a Kickstarter, just look at what Steve does.
Yeah.
And do that because it worked really well. And there were even some points where I was like, how is this going to work? The numbers don't make sense. This doesn't, but we have to charge this. And he's like, no, don't worry about it. Just put it. And I was like, but it worked. It's working out.
Working out.
yeah, it's working out.
Hopefully it's working out. Hopefully Misty, the next interview we do, Misty's not taking me to court. Just like I shouldn't have listened to you. You ruined my life.
No, it's not like a life ruining investment, you know. It was, but it was like it was a little bit, you know. But
Yeah,
that's it's so fun though.
Yes, it was fun, and again, you know, we're still hoping to make our backing. We're very close. I'm hoping we're making track, but at the end of the day, I think we have something very valuable, and you know, we'll see what we can do with this. And you know, at the end of the day, even if it doesn't make it to funding, we'll do digital copies. We'll do something with it. It's not going to not come out.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's ours. It's something we did together. We're 50-50 partners no matter what. And that's all I can ask for. And Misty has blindly been convinced by my charms, I guess, to go through with this Kickstarter. But I think we're doing good so far. The fact that we're 80%, I don't think we're even a month in yet.
Yeah,
is,
roughly, not quite halfway. Yeah,
is good. And I think after the holiday season too, when people, you know, people get gifts or people are financially okay, like, you know what I mean, they're okay to back or to take a look at the Kickstarter again. I think we'll be okay. But if not, hey, listen, we had a great time, and I don't think that means we're not going to work together again or anything like that. It just means that we got to think about if we do another one, just think about it a little bit better and figure it out some more. But you know, I gained a friend, and she gained a friend, so I think that's the most important thing.
I'm just going to count the days until somebody rips you off for that title, because to tell you the truth, like, I thought that the Deus Ex Machina title has been used to death. I didn't think anything could come out of it as clever as what you guys did. I never once thought of using it as the title of a Christmas story. And when I looked at it, and I'm like, oh, dude, that's so clever. Look at what Steve and his partners did there, man. That's one of the things that really caught me, because, like I said, it's been done to death. Like, I'm kind of tired of things using that title. But then when I looked at yours, I was just like, Ex Machina. Like, I never even thought about making it as a Christmas title. Like, that is so. I mean, I guarantee you, like, Disney or somebody's going to try to steal your guys' title in the next couple years.
Well, if that's the case, we could talk to them about it. But we did talk about titles. I'm a stickler for titles. I think from the minute you hear a title for a comic, you're supposed to you're supposed to understand like what exactly it is. Like with Slowpokes, I was like, I think, you know, the minute you hear that, you're like, okay, that's Fast Killer Slots. That's pretty funny. Or Zombie Date Night, that tells you exactly what it is. Ex Machina, we definitely talked to other titles. Do you remember the titles that we discussed?
I can look them up real quick. We have like 12 of them. And they might actually go on to be like sequel titles, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. That could definitely work. We definitely talked about it a lot. And again, the pronunciation of Ex Machina or Ex Machina, however you pronounce it.
We've got Santa with 4s, spelled with 4s instead of A's. Helves, pretty much spelled with all numbers, like, you know, like a text.
So that comes from flipping your calculator backwards. Like,
yes.
Yeah, when you're a kid.
Yeah,
you're trying to spell boobs or hello or whatever you're trying to spell.
Yeah.
Ex Machina is on here. The night before Ex Machina, just the algorithm. The holiday app algorithm that almost destroyed the world. That's kind of a long one.
That's a lot. Hey, it's trendy to have long titles nowadays.
That's the 1950s title. That's the 1950s title. Straight up.
Something's eating the children, or like the house at the
lake. The Me You Love in the Dark, or whatever it's called there. The Scotty Young one.
We have some really good ones on here. Let's see. Rocking Around the Christmas Killing Spree. It's the most deadliest time of the year. 2 Strokes to Midnight at the North Pole.
Well, that could be a whole nother.
That's a whole other imprint, I guess, at this point. But just we were just having fun with these, and I'm lucky that Ex Machina is stuck. I just think it fits very well with the title and the theme of the story, and just it's clever because it doesn't. it's something that makes you feel things, but it still doesn't take itself incredibly seriously. It's still fun. That's what we wanted to do. But reading those titles now are just amazing. We got to figure out a way to work those in.
Definitely. Yeah. The last one was Run Run Robot Rudolph.
We were talking about like trying to figure out, like, I feel like an evil Rudolph thing could work, and it's just a dark. I'm just picturing this cover, or it's just a shadow, the nose, and it just says they used to call him names. Something like that. Because I still think there's something viable there. I don't
Rudolph's
know what.
Revenge.
Yeah, Rudolph's Revenge. They used to laugh and call him names. Rudolph. Coming this winter.
With a silhouette with a butcher knife.
Yeah, that might be next. Maybe we'll figure something out.
So I have a question for you, Misty, because this is Steve's third kick at the can on Kickstarter. Is this your first experience crowdfunding?
Yeah.
Or have you done it before? So this is how have you found the experience so far?
So far I'm kind of at an advantage because my day job is in marketing, so
Okay.
I have previous knowledge of social media basic stuff and like website stuff, aesthetics. I guess as an artist, I'm familiar with the importance of branding and making things look professional in order to present the project in the way that it deserves to be presented, because we worked really hard on it and it's really great. So I want it to look as professional as possible, to give it respect, I guess, to like show that, to give it respect. And also I think people trust you more when you show that you're like putting in a lot of effort. You want it to look really good. You respect the work you did enough to present it in a way that makes it look really good. So yeah, I'm not really into false advertising. I really try to present the project as it is, be as honest as we can. And so far the experience has been probably better than I could even hope for, like as a first time creator, because I have a person to work with who's done it before.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, having done this before, puts me in a really good spot to just kind of assist. But I mean, we're really collaborate on it. But I have been listening to him. I'm just kind of been like listening to Steve and what Steve does. So I now have a lot of good information to work with when I do it myself on my own. Probably next year.
So Misty is super talented, and I want the world to see her. You know what I mean? Like I'm a goofball, and you know all this stuff is great, but at the end of the day, this is a project where I'm like, I want this to launch her into the stratosphere. So then we could work together again, and everybody wins. But her stuff is great, and I can't wait for everybody to check it out once we're done with X-Maschina.
Yeah, if you, I went and checked her stuff out on Instagram, and she's got a lot of art posted up there. So anyone who's interested to see her style, what she's about, just go on Instagram and at Misty Graves, I think, right?
Misty Graves Comics.
Comics, yes. And if you go on there, you could check out a lot of her art and a bunch of other things. It's really nice stuff. It's you definitely you could see you have that horror love, right? You have that little vibe to your work that has a little edge to it. It's nice.
Thank you.
And she's brand new to comics, right? I know you read comics back in college, but it was a few years ago, right? That's when the X-Files comics came into play.
Yeah, it was 3 years ago when I started co-hosting the podcast about the comics, and it was some years before, a little bit before that, when I really discovered the magic of old horror comics, like those golden age 40s through late 70s, early 80s anthology
the
horror
classics.
comics.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. All of those classics. Once I discovered those, it was just all over for my entire life. I was just like, oh, this is what I'm doing now. Like I just have to like be this and do this. So sort of what happened.
How do you feel about the contemporary batch of horror comics that we've been getting the past couple of years? I think that we're living in a veritable golden age of horror comics at the moment, but I was wondering your take, since you kind of just know the old school and you're getting into comics. How do you feel about the new school horror stuff?
Let's see. I just read, or like the most recent one I read was the Ice Cream Man series, which
Yeah,
I
Ice
think
Cream
is
Man is
really,
awesome.
yeah. I would agree with you that it's a new age for horror. I think people also perhaps want, or maybe it's just me, but I think people perhaps also just want stories, like beginning to end. Give us the beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
with this like 40,000 page epic stuff. I just give me a nice little. I just want to eat it and be spooked or be like scared or be like, oh, that was weird. I like these little morsels of stories. So I think people are craving that, and I think we're seeing more of that coming out.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Silver Coin is another anthology horror series that's out. That's
Sing?
really good. Sync as well. Yeah, those are like the anthology horror comic series. Man, they're hitting their stride. People are eating it up. People love it.
One thing I really liked about them was, like, as a woman, I felt like I didn't really see myself represented in the world of comics often. The mainstream comics, like indie comics is one thing, but like the mainstream ones, I'm like, well, I guess it's superheroes and stuff like that. But I wanted that representation. I wanted to see more representation. Well, I guess, okay, so here's something that's kind of interesting. Women in media, like we get a lot of representation in horror. It's actually like the most women appear in movies are in horror movies because they're like the victims, but we're still like the stars, so there's like this weird relationship, I think, between women in horror. We're like, we love it because we're like being murdered and we secretly are afraid of that, so we write horror it's like you deal with your fears through digesting the media that represents them. And I wanted to represent my fears, if they're unique to me, in these anthology horror formats.
Yeah, like I read, I saw someone in an interview, and they said they relate to horror movies more as a feminist, because they take a woman, like you say, most of the time they're like at the center of the story, and they overcome all these odds against them, and they beat this person to overthrow this evil at the end, and they're the big, like the odds, like they stack the odds against them, and like they show how they're so powerful and resilient that they overcome all these odds and survive, and in the end, they're the winner, and so, and I never really thought of it like that when I was listening to that interview, and I was like, yeah, that's a good way to look at it. There is a lot of nudity, like especially in the 80s, running around in underwear and screaming in the woods and stuff like that. But
for everyone.
Yeah, but it's come a long way. Like even the Halloween that came out with Jamie Lee Curtis, where she's like such a badass. Like that was, I love that that not the one that came out this year, but in 2018, I think.
Yeah,
that one was great. I love that. I ate that up. Like seeing how it changed her too. Like she was a victim of this trauma, and it just turned her into this independent, like just badass, like almost like Terminator type. Like nothing can stop her. Right? She's like, it was. I just love the way they continued the story there with that. Sequel. It was great, and I think more and more horror movies are adapting, taking that line with and I mean, women are getting more and more respect in horror movies, and you see less of the gratuitousness, and which is nice. It's very nice to see.
Yeah. I like those old horror stories, but so often, and I kind of appreciate them for what they are. Like in the 40s, a big part of the anthology horror comics was like spousal murder, because like people couldn't really get divorced back then. So you see a lot of horror comics about like spouses killing each other. A lot of wife murder was super popular.
Hashtag wife murder.
Yeah, I just want to like take these concepts and just be like, okay, what are we all afraid of these days? How can we put these in anthology horror comics? We're not really afraid of insurance fraud so much. or wife murder.
If you look at any EC comic back then, just a straight up bank fraud in every story.
Yeah.
So much murdering for the money, like insurance money. The insurance companies didn't get their stuff together until like the late 70s.
Oh, we're all paying for it now. Don't worry, the insurance companies are getting the last laugh now. It's too bad it's not our grandparents that had to pay for it.
I think a title, Murder for the Money.
It would be. Yeah.
Yeah. True crime and kick-ass ladies, definitely. Oh, and a lot of like, I'm just talking about my own stuff right now. We should talk about
Go ahead. Listen, the floor is yours, man. I talk too fucking much. It's your turn.
Well, okay, so just a lot of my favorite stories, a lot of my favorite horror stories, a lot of my favorite writers, artists, musicians, creators are like all dudes, you know? So I don't know what that is. A lot of the main characters in the movies that I like are all dudes. So I'm just like, maybe we could swap it out. I don't know. Like, just try it out.
I think that's kind of natural though, because I love like comics, movies that have the protagonist is like a strong female lead that just kicks ass, and I eat that up. So I think it's just normal that we gravitate to like seeing someone of the opposite sex just being like, I don't know if that's maybe something more deep rooted there for me, but you know, I think it's just it's fun.
Like for me too, it's because a lot of my favorite media is like old school. It's like 40s and 70s and stuff. So, you know, women were like barely allowed to leave the house.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, it's fine. We could leave legally.
You guys were always the bad guys in the crime dramas back then too, man. The dame did it. It was the dame. I should have never trusted her.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Misty, I thought you were gonna dab for a second. I thought you were just doing.
I can't dab. I'm over 30. It's legal.
Yeah.
So speaking, your book's about Christmas, and I know that Misty, you have your podcast that's geared towards horror. So I have a question for each of you. What is your favorite horror Christmas movie? Like, you know, keeping with the theme, your book is Christmas. It's kind of like a sci-fi. It has horror elements. Yeah.
I got to go with either Gremlins or Santa's Sleigh, because the fact that they got the wrestler Goldberg to be Santa and he just kills everybody, that's fucking great. That's
a real thing?
Yes, wow, Santa's Sleigh. If you look it up, the wrestler Bill Goldberg plays Santa, which is hilarious because he's Jewish, and he kills everybody.
Does he spear him?
He's on his naughty list too.
Cool. Is he running around spearing him?
Yeah, spearing him in both wrestling wise and with a spear, with a giant spear.
Yeah, Gremlins. I was a kid when Gremlins came out, so every year I watch at least every year at Christmas once. You know.
Yeah, Gremlins is good. It's great. How about you, Misty? In terms of Christmas horror,
I'm gonna have to go with Nightmare Before Christmas.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, it like when I was little. I think I was 9 years old when that movie came out, and the Tim Burton's style just mesmerized me. And I think his style is based on like German expressionism from like way back in the day. But I like the Tim Burton stuff because that's, you know, everything just gets remade and remade. So yeah, I saw that and I was like, this aesthetic is everything. I love the stripes. I love the curly hill. So that influenced my art. It influenced.
So you're saying when this is happening, you're going, what's this? What's this?
I honestly know every single line to like every single song in that entire movie. So
yeah, my wife loves Nightmare Before Christmas, so you're not alone on that one. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. It's also musical, so it's not only horror Christmas, but it's also a musical.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of musicals, but Nightmare Before Christmas, the songs are really, really good. They're solid. Yeah. I dig
I
it.
mean, the best things come from love, and when things have love in it, like the Nightmare Before Christmas, like it just catches on. It's so catchy. Like there's nothing you can do about it. It just catches your eye, especially with the style and like all the little details. It's great.
On Twitter, I've noticed that a lot of your books have been trickling in the mail. A lot of people have been receiving their physical copies of your last Kickstarter.
Yes, I believe I sent yours.
Yeah.
I believe I sent yours out. Hopefully, it got there in one piece.
Yeah, I just got it yesterday. It just came in yesterday. I haven't. I was super busy the last 2 days because holidays. You know how it is. You guys were. This week was quite a challenge to try to get everything set up, but we managed to get it, and I just opened it late last night, and it's in perfect shape. You sent it in the Gemini, so man, there's no problems there.
Awesome.
It's perfect shape, mint condition. So
I'll take it. Those are hard, especially with the packing stuff, because sometimes you're like, all right, everybody's getting their stuff, and then that random one where you're just like, oh shit, all the stuff got knocked out, or like there's something. So it's still a learning process, making sure that hers is in good condition too, which is great. But whatever gets damaged, if anything gets damaged in the process, happy to send the replacement. I'd never want to cheat anybody.
Yeah, because when we had you on the first time, it was for that Kickstarter, your zombie date night Kickstarter.
Yes, and that one went well too. Very excited. That was a lot of fun, and now I'm starting to hear more reviews about it, and people are being very positive. So I still can't believe that this is my third comic, and people are still wanting to come on this comic ride with me, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah. I was finding it funny because you were hitting me up for a review, and I'm like, not until you're on the show, buddy. Like, yeah, you got to get it live. And you're like, but I want to know if I still have a career in comics. And then next day I look, and like you're up for awards for like best indie Kickstarter thing of 2021. I'm like, I hope that answers Steve's question. I hope he's not too worried about what I have to think anymore, because like, it's geniusness, brother. That's all I can tell you. I really enjoy it. I love the presentation. And my favorite thing about this one is you didn't sign it, so I can actually pick it out and read it, because I am not a digital reader, and I am finicky about reading comics that have been signed. So, yeah, thank you very much for not sneaking a signature on this
next time or something, whether this Kickstarter, if there's something I can send you signs, let me know. I'll sign something. Anything. I'll just sign a piece of paper or whatever you need, whatever you want me to sign.
Oh no, that's fine. It makes it easier for me to read the books, because like I know a lot of people think that like, oh, it's nice, I autographed it for the guy, but for me, I'm like, now I can't read it. Now I got to try to read the
do they autograph it like right on the page?
Yeah, right on the cover. Most of the people that I know signed it.
Steve signed mine on the cover, but I'm not like Johnny. I'm going to take it out and reread it. I don't care.
Please do.
I'm going to. Yeah, I read the PDF, but I'm going to pull it out, and I like to look at the physical copy too. So I'm definitely going to give it a reread. Over the holidays.
You guys are awesome. Probably. Whatever, if you guys rip anything, I'll replace it. Whatever happens, I'll whatever.
Really? I got mine right here. Let's test this theory out.
She just rips it in half. Sign this.
There's a lifetime guarantee on all of Steve's comics.
He's just ripping comics that aren't even mine. It's like, I didn't even write it.
Yeah, dude, you owe me a Spawn #1. I just tore my Spawn #1 in half.
I'll sign it, but all right, like, I don't think it's worth anything.
Is there like an ideal place to sign? I've never signed a comic before, so like.
Oh, you will be.
I might have to.
You will be once this one is done.
Where do you sign it?
I don't mind I like on the inside cover, to tell you the truth, but a lot of people will do it right on the front.
I like the cover because I buy the frames and I hang them on the wall after. So I like it on the cover. That way I can display it on when I put them in the those comic frames. So
Misty, nice. This is how you're going to sign it. You're going to sign a big M on the cover, and then I on the next page, S on the next page. It's big, just covering the whole. giving all the collectors anxiety. I'm just like you coming through.
I could just you at a convention doing that. The person's fucking eyes will get like fucking bugging out of the what the
Every
fuck?
page, just another letter.
Yeah. After you run out of letters for your name, just exclamation points on all the rest of them.
Yes. And then you got to do best wishes on the next few pages.
Yeah.
I'm like crying.
I have some theories about Zombie Date Night, but yeah, about the main character. I think I don't know where you're going with it, but I think she might have a little eye zombie action going on there.
So she is albino, so that is why she's so pale. It's not because she's a zombie, unfortunately.
Okay, so
But,
it's not just an excuse she's using to cover it up. I use the theory, the conspiracy theory, that she's just saying that because because at one point her ex shows up and he almost seems like they used to be part of some secret agency or something. So I don't know if they did like some kind of crazy experiments and she got like these weird, like semi-zombie powers or something. That's where I was looking at it.
Hey, listen, I appreciate everybody for reading, and everybody's always had their theories about Zombie Date Night, but with Jack and Ginger, I want to keep it more contained. You know what I mean? Like in terms of like more of like, hey, there's this date that's happening, and then like the zombies happen. You're not sure what's happening, but I'll definitely figure it out as we go along. But it's But no, that's pretty. I've heard that's the second person that's told me iZombie for this. So
yeah, because
I've actually never seen iZombie. I think I'm aware of it, but I've never seen it. So
the show's decent, but read the comic. Read the Vertigo comic with the art by Mike Allred. It's so superior.
Yeah, it's really cool. I actually got a couple issues of iZombie last summer and started reading it. It's so much more supernatural than the show. The show really explains things where you're like, okay, this all makes sense. Wrapped it up in a nice bow.
Well, they don't have the were-terrier and the teenage Frankenstein and the vampire sorority girls or any of the fun stuff from the comic on the show. And I'm like, why even bother adapting it if you're not going to have Scott the were-terrier? I mean, come on.
That's terrible.
The
That's
comic
not a
is
good
so
thing.
much more whimsical.
But about issue 2, man, are chanclas going to be a scratch goal? Because like I really want a pair of grandma chanclas, man. Some abuelita chanclas.
I think chanclas are an easy thing. I just got to look into it in terms of what I would sell them for, or if people would want them. But that has been the biggest hit of this comic is the grandma with the chanclas. Like everybody who I was going through the surveys. And I was like, oh, why did you want to buy Zombie Date Night? Some people were like, oh, zombies are cool. It's like, okay, great, whatever. A lot of people, just the zombies with the chancla or the grandma with the chancla got me. And I was like, all right, I got something here based on my own experiences with my own grandmother. So I guess, like you're saying before, things that are rooted in love, people will always respond to.
Mm-hmm.
You sell it as a package with the chancla and the nails.
Yes, the nails, and then people will be cutting themselves opening the box. That would be awesome. I'll be like, well, or sign the chancla, right?
Or did they already have the nails in them?
No, she places the nails in them from what's in the bunker. So, but yes, chanclas with nails in it, perfect weapon for a zombie outbreak. I also want to try to work in a weed whacker because if I was in a zombie invasion, a weed whacker would be my
oh my gosh, what's that movie?
Because they do have the weed whackers that you can put a blade on for like more heavy duty stuff.
Yeah,
one of my buddies has it, so you get that weed whacker with the blade on it, and it's good because they're long. You can keep the zombies at a distance,
and it has a cool effect too. Like just the blood would just spray. Like it would be great.
Okay.
Not from experience.
There is this movie by the director of the same guy who directed The Hobbit, Peter.
Oh,
Peter
Dead
Jackson.
Alive with the lawnmower. Yeah, the lawnmower. Just the bloodbath scene.
It's fantastic. It is like one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. It's like
such a great movie. So anyone that hasn't seen Brain Dead or Dead Alive here in North America, you got to go see that. It's Peter Jackson. Like if you only know Peter Jackson from
from Lord of the Rings,
from Lord of the Rings,
or that Beatles documentary.
or King Kong or whatever, man, go get Dead Alive. You'll, it's so good. Like, so good, so good. That's Peter Jackson without a budget, and I think every film you should take the budget away from him.
Yeah.
That thing's that's a B movie masterpiece right there. Yeah.
It really is. Yeah. It's like
I feel like there should be a
passion.
series of like, well, Blumhouse's like, hey, listen, we'll reach out to all these directors and things like that. Like, we'll make any movie as long as it's a B horror movie, and then you can create a series out of it just from all these great directors.
Like, this is your budget.
Yes, and that's also where creativity comes from. When you have no money, you're like, all right, we gotta figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
People would probably tune in, right?
Yeah,
like known directors. You have this budget, and this you like a series where it's a 1 hour episode. You have like this very small budget, and and it'd be interesting an anthology series like that. Like each episode is a different director with a small budget, and see what they can come up with.
Something with just a show, like a TV show. That's like your Chopped, right? Chopped is a big thing.
Yeah.
Over here where it's like here's the ingredients, make whatever you want, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you
draw
did that
3
with
things out of a bag.
That would be fun. I would tune into that for sure.
I would too. But the thing is, with Chopped, what I always found funny, you could do that same exact show just with people who can't cook, and it would still be entertaining. Because it'd be like, here's some shit, make it, figure it out. Here's some broccoli, some stuff, and some hollandaise sauce.
Have you seen Nailed It?
What's that?
Nailed It.
I think I've only seen 1 or 2 episodes of that. Yeah,
it's like a little bit that with Nicole Byer. She's so funny, but it's madness. It's weird. It's like watching TV in another dimension. Like the way that it's produced. It's so it's like an you get the interdimensional cable from Rick and Morty.
From Rick and Morty, yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they just give random people ingredients.
They find people who are really passionate about trying new things, and they bring them on the
show. That's fantastic. That's awesome. I'll have to check that out. That's pretty good.
Yeah, they all get the same challenge, and they have to try to accomplish it, and it's kind of fun seeing who you think is going to do. It's like, is the EMT going to do better than like the bus driver? Like, is the the gas station guy gonna So.
I'd love to see them do one episode where they're like, open it up, and one of the ingredients is edible underwear. Like, here, this is like one of your ingredients. Use this. See what they do with it.
Yeah, chop it up.
I could see one of the contestants just wearing it on their head and then just like drinking vodka for the remainder.
And they'll win the money.
Be like, damn, I didn't have to come on this show to live out my Friday night.
We're gonna have Goose on the show, huh? Wow.
Yeah,
he's one of our co-hosts.
I was waiting for Goose to come back. So Goose is one of their co-hosts, and just super nice guy, super passionate about comics. When he reads Ex Machina, because he pledged to get killed in the next one. So we'll have to talk about it when that time comes.
And we'll tell him that he's going to have to die with edible underwear on his head, and vodka's going to have to be involved.
A bottle of vodka.
Underwear machine.
We were talking about kills for Ex Machina, and we just did a written interview, and I put in like waterboarded with hot chocolate. I'm like, I got to work that into the next one. Like, there's got to be something with that, or there's so much you could do like holiday wise with Christmas, because everything can kill you. Stockings can kill you. Coal can kill you. The right present can kill you. So
lights, electricity. I mean,
yes, exactly.
The possibilities are endless.
Injecting a person with pumpkin seasoning or pumpkin spice. Yeah, dude. Like that's
pumpkin spice in the eyes.
Pumpkin spice gas. Like the gas with pumpkin spice gas.
Slade would definitely have yes, he would have pumpkin spice or like a Christmas spice type of gas to kill you with. So that's the last thing you smell. That's fucking horrifying and hilarious at the same time.
Yeah.
Like Bath and Body Works,
You could do like a mini story in the back, kind of like Zombieland style, like top 5 Christmas kills, and the most creative ways to kill people with Christmas decorations or whatever.
That might work with the robots. Like, you know, if the robots take over, you're just like, hey, we're gonna have a contest, and everybody is that we have to kill in the most Christmas way possible.
Yeah.
You rack up points. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's definitely a lot to do there.
I could see waterboarding an elf for like secret information. You know, or like to get them to turn against Santa, to be like, tell us his secrets. And
I gotta say, when we were writing the elf character, just because Misty's such a kind person, I always pictured like her voice as not because, you know, you don't sound like an elf or anything, but like the voice of reason, where it's just like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, like the voice of reason that's too quiet and blends in with all the other sounds, so nobody really listens. You know, hey, don't do that. Maybe stop. That's bad.
Maybe stop this.
Maybe don't do it. Yeah. I think it'll be fun if we do a live reading of X-Machina.
Yes, that is definitely on the list. I definitely would love to do that once everything is complete. Just us as the characters doing this live holiday reading of maybe, you know what, maybe by the time either next year rolls around or like maybe July, like because you could do Christmas in July then, or maybe like closer to that or something like that. But I think that would be a lot of fun for at least for our backers too. Just like, hey, here's something that you can get. Here's something special since you guys back this.
That would be so fun. And Lane Lane has to be involved.
Lane has Slay, I think, is the winner.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. And you're Santa, obviously.
I guess so. I suppose because I'm sour, a sour piece of shit.
Steve is a Grinch. You're a Grinch when it comes to holidays, then?
I will say I've definitely come around on the holidays a little bit more now, doing X-Machina. But in terms of like Christmas beforehand, it's not the day of Christmas. The day of Christmas is always great because I get to be with my family and have fun. It's always the lead up that it gives me anxiety because it's like, all right, there's so many things on the task list
to do.
And it's not about me, it's about everybody else. So it's making sure that making everybody else happy and making everybody else have a good thing. And like I feel like that anxiety gets to me where it's like I want to make sure that everybody has a good Christmas and a great Christmas, and like I kind of work myself up about it, or like, all right, I need to get this person the perfect gift, but I don't know what that is. Like, and you're looking for this. And again, it's like, are people measuring what I got them last year prior to this? There's just a lot of that Christmas anxiety. But now that we're doing X-Machina, we're having fun. We have the holiday theme song. It just makes me laugh. And now I think I'm hoping with this creates kind of like a holiday tradition of us creating more issues of X-Machina, or, you know, something else together. That would be a lot of fun.
Cool. Well, without giving away any spoilers, is there any way you guys could maybe tell us like what your favorite part of the book is, like without maybe giving too much away?
Yeah, I could. Let's go with Misty. I got to think about this for a second. I love it all. It's just I got to think about the right.
I mean, there's the nice bit where we kind of hit the climax is a good part. I also like the beginning,
which tells you nothing. I also like the end as well,
and everything in between.
I think the end as well. There's like this part. Let's see. There's a lot of really funny back and forth between Slay and Santa when they're fighting, and I think one of my favorite parts is just their dialogue, where they're like fighting. It's like you're fighting yourself, you know. So I think that's one of my favorite parts. It's like very dynamic part of the book, and funny because it was funny.
We can expect some great banter between the two of them when they finally have it out. That's awesome.
Yes. So and we also have Slay definitely has a personality. He's not just like this robotic thing that doesn't, you know, that just like ones and zeros. He has a personality, which is great. My favorite is that just the little things like Santa's wife leaves him for abominable snowman. Like the elves are on strike in our story because the machines have taken over. Like the machines they basically took their jobs. So the elves are on strike, and they have like these little signs, and they have like little things like on the signs that I love that. The fight scenes are just fantastic of like, and again, we shared one of the pages before Santa headbutts sleigh and realizes he's a robot. And he's like, ow, that fucking hurt. Like, I mean, that's good. But just that, and just incorporating all these different things, like this thing should be, this thing sounds like it should be a big project, but like we contain it nicely. Like we put it all like in the North Pole and just, taking these Christmas characters that you're familiar with and putting our own spin on it while creating some new characters along the way. That's my favorite part. And just making magic, making Christmas magic. And I'll also say with Santa doing cocaine is my favorite thing. And I remember writing it down because I was like, oh, this might be too much. And Misty, instead of saying like, no, don't do this, being the voice of reason, she was like, hell yeah, let's do that.
Double down.
Like, how can we make this hilarious, And I felt like writing that scene with Steve was so fun. It was just, this is hilarious. Like, we just kept kind of punching up until we're like, this is absolutely ridiculous. Let's do it.
And also, speaking of, you were talking about nudity before. There was Santa nudity in this book. That's all we're going to say. But it's top notch.
Full frontal, because Joey loves that.
Not full frontal, but unfortunately, maybe next Machina too. It's a little cold for the North Pole, but a nice. What is it? Gluteus magicus? That's what you call it.
Yeah.
And we have nice Christmas cards that go along with the story too. So there is a Gluteus magicus Christmas card that you can get with the Kickstarter.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Richard, who's in the chats, who has to leave. So I just want to say Merry Christmas to him. I'd like to say Merry Christmas to Tara, who's in the chats as well, before she might have to drop out and do something. And Manny was there too. I don't know if he's gone, but Merry Christmas out to Manny as well. I saw him leave a few comments. So I hope you all have a great Christmas, in case I don't get to say it before you guys have to head out.
Yeah. Yes, Merry Christmas, and thank you guys for backing. I think all three of these people backed Kickstarter. So, thank you.
Thank you.
You're on our good list, not on the Slate audio list.
Yeah.
So, everything goes well, and this becomes a major feature film, which I'm predicting it will. What are you guys' casting picks for the main roles? Just wondering. Because I know you're definitely the type of guy that picks that type of stuff out, Steve.
I definitely saw if this gets made into a movie, like in whatever, let's say this year, next year, I mean, we definitely pictured Clint Eastwood as our Santa, where it's just like, hey, this guy has been weathered and he's just tired. He's seen it all. But I mean, if there's a movie version, we'd probably do somebody that's not 105. But
get somebody younger like Jeff Bridges. I think I could see Jeff Bridges playing a really good cokehead Santa Claus.
He'd be great.
The Stranger Things guy, the one who played Hellboy. What's his name?
David Arbor.
David Arbor. I could see him playing that good.
He
Santa
would also be fantastic. Oh, it'd be hard to choose between the two of them. Oh my gosh.
I would also throw Patrick Stewart in there too. Patrick Stewart as Santa would be great.
It'd be great to see him do a line in a movie. Yeah, just get away from that. That's mine.
Trying to get some more snow.
I'm like a childhood fan of Star Trek Next Generation. So to me, like, he'll always be Captain Picard, and like we cannot sully Captain Picard's like good reputation, Yeah. Yeah. Also, whoever plays Santa has to have a little chub on them. They can't be just like
it's handsome.
Gaunt. I don't want a gaunt Santa. Like
you don't want. Would you pick Dan DeVito as Santa?
He's too expected to be like that dirtbag guy. No offense, Danny DeVito's wonderful, but you know what I mean. Like he's
typecast as the dirty little guy that's going to rip you off. Like ever since I was a kid, Jewel of the Nile. I mean, I can't think of a movie where he's played like a reputable guy. I mean, there's got to be a few, but I can't think of them offhand. You know what I mean?
All right, I got my final pick. I got my final pick for Santa. I would pick Mads Mikkelsen as Santa.
Going totally scary with it. Like that man terrifies me, man. Like, so yeah, Mads will actually bring some like terrifying depth to the character. So yeah.
He
So
does great. He does great Hannibal. So
the only Hannibal I'm actually afraid of that I respect. Yeah, and
That I
yeah, look,
respect.
he
As
can
he's
pull that
eating
off.
you, you're like, all right, I respect you, even though you're eating my brain.
yeah.
Oh, maybe Harrison Ford.
That's a good one too.
Yeah.
Because you ever see him in Bruno?
And then you get Mads to play Slay.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's perfect.
yeah.
That's good. Yeah, he looks kind of like Slay. That works out. Also, Slay's been hitting the gym. Look at that. Look at his body.
Yeah, he looks like
Yeah,
Vin
Slade
Diesel
was-
right there. He's living his life a quarter mile at a time in this picture.
He's a buff metal man. Yeah.
He is a buff metal man. He's been
thing,
going to the
I guess
metal
I don't know
gym,
what he
you know?
identifies as. He's like kind of all of the genders because he's an algorithm.
Yeah, he's a
I
Christmas
keep
robot.
saying he, but it's like an it, really.
I
Slay's
guess,
an
yeah,
it.
that's true.
A
It just
buff
Slay
it.
is an abs. Just abs. Abs is now the just
Well,
call
he's
him
got like
abs.
It's got a metal mustache, and that always makes me go masculine. But I grew up in the '90s and '80s. I was born in '81, so I got an old brain. I got to get caught up with this
when
whole.
it comes to robots, like
Was that-
Johnny
No,
Five.
that makes sense. And plus, it's the mirror image of Santa, and Santa is like canonically a
Okay.
dude.
I also think Jack Nicholson would be a good Santa or Slay or both. You know what I mean? Just like, hey, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, we could go
Get
for the
away from my
ultimate-
blow.
go for the ultimate cringe fest and have one actor play two roles.
Yes. Well,
So
that wouldn't be
cringy
the
when
first
that
time he played
happens.
two roles. He was in Mars Attacks as the president, and I think he was like a singer.
The
or
Texan.
something.
Yeah, the
Texan.
casino owner guy. Yeah.
Yeah, the casino owner. That's it. Yeah, yeah.
But there's so many different people that could play these. I mean, I would love if this turned into something, but as long as we could just get to work together and do more of it, that's all that I care about.
So this is going to be
20%,
pretty
yeah.
open-ended. So we could expect sequels.
If this gets its funding, we are looking to do another one after this, and so on and so forth. We definitely have a world kind of planned out. We have this idea in our heads of it's like, all right, what if Mad Max met Christmas? Like, what would that look like? And I think there's a lot of fun to be had, because there's still other holiday, figures that could be used. There's still, the prospect of getting off the North Pole and seeing what happens there. Just the idea of Santa, like how does he fight these robots? There's so much that could be done. So I'm hoping we can continue this, but we'll see how the funding goes. If the funding doesn't go, we'll just release it, and then Misty will just never talk to me again, and that'll be.
Well, it's weird.
Misty will be like, I can't believe you talked me into this bullshit.
Well, it's honestly weird because we like made this whole world and we made these characters, so it feels like it'd be really weird to just let them all die.
I think we could create something that just ties everything up, or like at the end of make sure it's a satisfying ending if this thing doesn't work out.
Yeah, we did have an ending to make it a one shot. Like when we were first writing, it was like way in the beginning, and it was real. I wrote it, and it was really sad and like mean. It's like we gotta let's have this be a little more open ended. I'm like, that's a better idea. Let's do that.
Yeah, Santa just hangs himself with a candy cane.
Yeah, it was just like it was not a happy Christmas for anyone. Like doom and gloom, apocalypse stuff. But I think I was just in a mood that night, and then the next night we got back to writing.
Yeah. Just give it that Paul W.S. Anderson ending, or no, just Paul Thomas Anderson. Wrong one. Yeah, just the complete.
And everybody
down.
died. That's one way to end stuff, but it's not really that creative now that I think about it. So we're gonna keep it going, I hope.
Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, listen, we're not trying to go on 100 issues or anything like that. I think we'll see where we land, but as long as we're excited about it, then we're going to keep doing it. And listen, we're so close to funding. We're very close. We're at 80%. If we have another month to go, I think we'll get there. So I'm going to be the positive one, be the Christmas magic one, and hopefully we'll be able to make this, and we'll be able to kill off Goose the way you guys want us to kill off your friend.
So was that a tier, or did he just DM you and ask you to kill him? Like, what's?
Oh, it is a tier. So
It is a tier, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's one left of people trying to get killed in the next
Okay.
one. If we get our funding, we will use that money to kill you, basically, in the most holiday way possible. So 4 people so far have backed. We have 1 spot open left. So if you want to get killed by Lane Lloyd and Misty Graves and Steve Urena, then go on over to Kickstarter, check out the X-Machina Kickstarter, and give us a pledge, and we'll kill you in the most ridiculous way possible.
Got the link in the description for anybody that wants to go check that out right now, or just back this baby, because like always, Steve is very reasonable with the prices of his books, and you can pick this up for a steal, in my opinion. So yeah, you can't beat a moderately priced book there where you could just spend a little extra money and get yourself murdered in the second issue of it. So yeah.
And plus with the murdering, you get all the other stuff. You get the shirt, you get the poster, you get the comic. You get the podcast that I was talking behind the scenes of reading through the comic. It's really just, it's a good deal. And, why wouldn't you get this for yourself for Christmas? You got one day to do it.
So that said, if you guys get your back, and Lane's already on board to continue with you guys to do the next issue and so on.
I think so. I mean, unless Lane just gets all this Transformers money, and we have to figure out the next person to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll line it to the schedule. We're not sure if it'll come out next year, you know what I mean, for around Christmas, because we need to write it and we got to figure that out.
Yeah.
But definitely we will definitely be putting, we'll definitely be moving our asses to making sure that it gets made. But again, our process is so fun that we can do it in a fairly quick amount of time. It's just figuring out the right time and the right place for everything.
Nice. Very, very good. So you have a month left to back. So anyone who hasn't backed, who is interested in this, who likes Lane's work, you've loved Slowpokes or Zombie Date Night, if you listen to Misty's podcast and dig what she's doing, go back this book. I mean, it's at 80%, so you don't need that many more backers. You have a month left. So people have plenty of time to pay off their credit cards and go back this book. So get to it, people. I mean,
listen, you got it. If you're a kid watching, go into your mom's purse, get that, get that credit card out. Go to Kickstarter.com. I'm only kidding.
That's what you need to do. Go full 80s style. Get a 1-900 number and call up and talk to Slay. Have your kids.
I used to do a similar thing when I was a kid. My dad had like this change pot, and I used to always go steal quarters out of it to go buy comics. Because when I was younger, comics only cost $1, so it only took 3 quarters. So every week I'd steal like $2 worth of change out of his change pot and go buy myself comics. So it's pretty much the same thing. Right?
That's smart though. And
if you're a parent and you see your change go missing, just don't say anything. Don't say anything.
Let it happen.
Let them be. Let them have fun.
I mean, would you rather have your kids stealing money to buy drugs or buy a comic?
or see Santa do cocaine?
Choose your battles.
But we're very lucky in terms of this because we got the horror community, we got the comics community, we're trying to get that Christmas community, and trying to take all these different fan bases and putting them together for Ex Machina. So far so good, but it's still been a fun ride, just meeting all these different people who want to back and support and talk to us. It's just the best time of the year.
Yeah,
the most wonderful
time of the year.
I'd say back it just for the title. They were able to make the phrase Deus Ex Machina clever again, and that alone deserves your time and your effort and your money. Especially for what they're asking for this.
We'll see if we don't get sued for that, but we should be fine. We should be fine.
Oh, everybody has used it so far. You know what I mean? And
yeah, it's probably
some kind of cyberpunk thing. You know what I mean? There's so many things called Ex Machina or Deus or Deus Ex and shit. So, I'm pretty sure that you guys actually using it clever and making it into a Christmas thing. If you guys get sued, I will personally start a GoFundMe.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you'll personally handle our accounts. Which is
no, I'll get you guys. I could get you guys about $15 for a lawyer.
just in the next issue, we'll just be adding like licensed characters, like and Jack Skellington will be there, and the Care
Mr.
Bears,
Peanut.
everybody.
Actually, I think you touched on it a little bit earlier, but you guys have a theme song to accompany your book.
Absolutely.
And I think you can go on YouTube and listen to it right now. Could you tell us who wrote that again, and how did you come about working or coming up with the idea for that? Because I love it.
Sure.
Like, I backed another Kickstarter where they made a theme song for their book, and I just ate it up. And I love it when creators go that little extra, just to add a little more fun to the book, And I think that was a beautiful touch. So if you could, I don't know, give us a little information on that, how that came about.
Absolutely. So I'm friends with a very talented person named Blake Rains, who is a musician. He did a song for Slowpokes, which everybody really liked. And I was like, I think for X-Machina, we should have a theme song of some sort, like a Christmas song, and just leaving it to him, because Blake has his own studio in his house, and he just messes around and stuff like this happens. And it's just like, damn, all I told him was, all right, Santa does cocaine, but like people want the snow because of global warming. So like, I just want the hook to do like, we want the snow, or like something like that. He goes, all right, sent us this. We both approved it. That was it. Like that.
So he wrote all the lyrics and everything,
yes,
too?
He wrote all the lyrics for this one. I used the "We Want the Snow" chorus, and just I can't, like, we're just so lucky to know such very talented people to help us. I mean, even for the Christmas cards, I mean, Misty can write, but Misty can fucking do art, and it's nuts. I'm just lucky. But with Blake Rains, with the songs, we've been friends since we were kids, and just like, there's no pressure or anything. I'm like, hey, we'll pay you for this, and we'll make it work. And it's awesome. And listen, if any of these things turn into movies or other comics or whatever, we would definitely keep using Blake until we're ready, because that song is the X-Machina theme song, and it still works as just a Christmas song. Like if you didn't know about our comic, you could listen to this and be like, oh, that's a nice song, even though it's not Santa doing cocaine.
That is like a big ask too. It's like, hey, write a good Christmas song. Like, write the next good Christmas song. Like Mariah Carey, the one that
something similar to that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like such a challenge. And so when we got the song back, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is like way better than anything I would even imagine. It's so good, and I'll be listening to it all year long. And
with Misty, I'm like, oh, we should do this, and she's like, yeah, whatever whatever you got, let's yeah, sure, you want a shirt, are you sure you want all this bullshit? Okay, that's fine. And then I'm like, oh, here's the art for this, and she's like, what the holy shit, like, this is crazy. Like, our shirt, hopefully you have a picture of it. Our shirt is crazy too, by artist who did the Slowpokes t-shirt, Vertebrae 33. So if you go on our Kickstarter, it's there, and it's just basically Santa fighting robots. And is
that gonna be a poster and a t-shirt, or is it just available as a t-shirt? Poster as well as a t-shirt. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that poster.
Flavors.
Yeah.
Yes, it's just different flavors. And for anybody who wants to do their own Kickstarter, I think my advice to you would be like, just do what you would want to see. I want a cool kick-ass shirt for my comic. I want a poster for my comic that people can hang up on their wall. I want a song. I want Christmas cards. Whatever the theme is, I want to have fun. And we had so much fun on this, and it's just seeing it all come to life now is just surreal.
Well, I mean, I love the idea of having soundtrack for comic books, because I always think of comic books as the better version of movies anyways. And having that audio side to it, it just boosts the whole experience up so much. And I'm glad that like people are doing like theme songs and stuff. I'm hoping for full soundtracks at some point for comic books. You know what I mean? Because that would be awesome. So amazing.
That would be awesome. I mean, the rapper Czarface, one of my favorites right now, came out with a comic, and he did his own. He scored the whole thing, and while you're reading the comic, like, you play the tracks and it lines up, and like that to me is such an extra step, but it's brilliant. Like, that's such a cool thing to do, and for the songs to work with the comic it's just, that's such a hard thing too. I can only imagine how long that took. I mean, at least for us, we're just like, all right, Christmas song, that's it. We don't know if it lines up with the comic, but like it's something to get you in the spirit.
But it definitely, like you say, it puts you in the spirit. It helps create a mood, and like it can make you connect even more emotionally as you're reading the story, depending on the song you pick as you're reading it. It's definitely a great tool that I don't think enough creators kind of use. It's becoming more and more popular, and I think when a creator does it, or a writer or whoever, and they do it effectively, it just makes it so much more fun to read, and you're just adding another sense into it. Like you're reading, you're seeing, you're hearing it. It just it's great.
It was either that or like smell-o-vision, but like we don't know how to
smell.
Like a scratch and sniff
pumpkin
comic.
Spice. Yeah, bring that back.
It's just gonna be me pouring pumpkin spice lattes on your comics. I'm gonna sign it like that, and then you're gonna smell the spice when you're reading it.
Was it
cookies into the pages?
Yeah, just food. Yeah, it's an experience.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was when you were on the first time when we had you on, but the scratch and sniff covers for black bag covers. I don't know if it was with you or talking about that on an episode, but
I'm not sure.
Someone came up with it, but it sounds like something you might have said.
Yeah,
it does sound like something I would say, but I'm not. I mean, I just remember all those gimmicks. Like, remember when like Kiss, like they did Kiss comics, and like
they put actual blood. Yeah.
But like I enjoy that side of things where it's like you're promoting your comic and you're having fun with it. I mean, I think I don't know. That goes along with with Kiss, which is great. So if I could put on my PT Barnum hat and try to find different ways to sell comics, I will always give it a shot.
Yeah, man. I mean, make it fun. That's what comics are about, right? It's a fun medium. It's supposed to, even when it's serious, it's it's got to be enjoyable, and anything a creator can do just to like bring it to that next level, right? Of just like people to say, "Oh, this is cool," or just to enjoy it that little more. Like, why not? Like, why stop at just this is the book, it's printing? Like, if you can do something clever, like you say, or something fun, like why not try it? I mean, like you say, it might work or it might not be at work as well, but at least you tried something different and tried to do something fun, and I think people appreciate that.
So I don't want to speak for Misty, but like I'm here to make noise. Like, I'm not here in comics just to do the same old. I want to do different things. I want to have fun. I want to have a relationship with my readers and have a relationship with people who love comics, because a lot of people take, and again, not knocking anybody, where it's like, this is a serious medium for some people, and you're supposed to take the story seriously. But I feel like people are not having as much fun anymore in comics. Like, it's just not as much.
Realism's taken over, man. Everybody wants everything to be hyper realistic. Everybody wants photorealistic art, and that's why I've kind of enjoyed the Kickstarter, because a lot of the new, young, talented voices, they're bringing back the cartoonist art. They're bringing back the absurdity. You know what I mean? That I grew up with, and I like a little bit of slice of life, a little bit of realism's fun, especially if I'm reading like a pretty dark horror comic or noir comic. But if I'm reading something about Santa Claus fighting an AI cyborg, I don't want realism in that. I'm sorry, I do not. You can Christopher Nolan anything else besides that, in my opinion. Yeah.
We did dimensions. We made sure everything worked.
It's just, I feel like one big rule, one thing I learned from my dad, who was a writer, was to be entertaining. It was like one of very few rules that he had like scrawled out on the side of a box of typewriter paper. And it says, be entertaining. And I feel like that is important. You got to be entertaining. Give them something to laugh at. Give them a fight. Give them a show.
At the end of the day, that's what I want. I mean, I don't want to be a bummer, but like the last 2 years haven't been particularly wonderful for me, and I don't think they've been for everybody else. So the idea of having more wild and absurd comics is something that appeals to me a lot more than just like, oh, this thing's grounded and it's realistic and it's gonna break your heart. And it's like, that was great, when I read 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank and stuff 4 years ago. But I mean, like, that aesthetic needs to kind of crawl back up and fun stuff needs to happen again. You know what I mean? A little bit.
And also we're putting our own money between this. The Kickstarters do help, like as you know, as we get funded, it helps us fund the next project and so on and so forth. But like if we're pitching stuff and it doesn't make us smile, we're not going to do it, because Santa fighting robots, that makes, every time I talk about Ex Machina, it makes me smile. It makes me smile, it makes me laugh, it makes me entertained, because I get to tell people, hey, there's this thing that exists that we wrote that is fucking out of our minds, but we did it, and it's done correctly. And it's so ridiculous, but like the way that it's done, the writing, I think is very, not patting ourselves on the back, but like everything comes together very nicely. And I love when Misty says it's like it's better than you think it is. That's what I like about our comics, where it's just like all this shit is like, it's ridiculous, it's wild, it's you know, it shouldn't be happening, but it's way better than you think it's going to be, which is great, which I think is why, you know, I've had the success with Slowpokes and Zombie Date Night, because with Slowpokes, like that's where people think the bar is Fast Killer Slot. So I was like, all right, if that's the bar, I could go higher than that, I can go lower than that. Like I could, there's no like, if I'm sure if like Quentin Tarantino is doing movies, like everybody's expecting it to be a certain way. I'm sure there's a lot of like pressure that he puts on himself. For me, I'm just like, Santa fighting robots. Let's see what happens. Let's see where this goes. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of love in it, and a lot of love in these characters, and I can't wait for people to read this. And
there would be more feet in his version, because
yes, more feet. It'd be all feet. It would just be all feet.
You can't stop seeing feet once you start noticing the feet in the Quentin Tarantino movies.
I mean, he was going to use Happy Feet, but they took it. Like Disney took it from him.
Damn, George Miller stole Happy Feet from Tarantino.
Damn it, I was gonna use
he wanted to direct that. He was outside the producers going, like,
I'm in. What is
a live action Happy Feet with all like attractive young actresses?
He was in until he read the script. He's like, this isn't what I thought it was.
What do you mean?
Fucking penguins? Or get out of here with this.
Oh my gosh.
So now this book looks like it's well on its way to funding. It's on pace. So let's just assume it'll get funded. So what's next on the schedule? I know you said if it's funded, you're going to work on another one, but you guys have anything else lined up that's in the works? Because obviously your writing's done, right? Your part of the book is done. Lane's doing the drawing. So do you have anything on the back burner right now that you guys are working on aside from the sequel to this comic?
So I think Misty will probably be first, right? Your stuff is on its way to getting done in terms of your anthologies, or
for the past year or so, I've been working on putting out an anthology of short horror stories that I wrote and I'm very proud of. And it's hard to pick just 4 to put in the first one, because I have a lot, and I'm excited to work with some of the artists that I've picked out, and one of them has agreed to do it, and you know, so it's all coming together. My next big project will be a horror anthology.
Mm-hmm. And is that going to be crowdfunded, or have you worked out those details yet? How you're going to make it come to life? Or
well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it. I'm going to pay for it to be created artistically. So I'm going to just basically fund the whole creation of the book. And then I'll put it on the Kickstarter and hope that people like it enough to maybe fund the printing of it, you know, like fund the distribution part of it, and perhaps reimburse some of my initial investment. Yeah.
But you're welcome on here to do promotion for it whenever you want when it comes time. Like, you're more than welcome to come on here as much as you'd like.
I think that's a great strategy, though, like having the book already done and just using the Kickstarter for the printing costs, because I think backers appreciate a fast turnaround when they back books. Like, you know, because sometimes when it takes too long, people like just today, someone on Twitter's like, oh, I forgot the good thing about backing a lot or something is like, I forgot I had backed this and I got it in the mail and it's like a surprise. So, you know, I think people enjoy fast turnaround, and you know, because they interact with you and it's fun and you have that momentum, right? So it's nice to keep that momentum going and reaching out to your fans, and and of your work. So yeah, I think that sounds awesome. Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited about it. I really hope people like my take on the anthology and like the stories that I have to tell. And yeah, I think it'll be good to just have it pretty much done and then use the Kickstarter to just get the word out. It'll be good to have it pretty much done too, because then you have art.
More marketing material to work with and stuff. Yeah, people love to see sample pages and stuff. And so I saw one book just recently on Kickstarter, and they're in the process of making it, and all they had were their character designs. Like they didn't have any sample pages or anything, and it doesn't look like the book's going to get back. But it looks like the artist looks like he has a lot of talent, but he doesn't have much there to show people. So I think that makes people reluctant to back a book because like they're afraid it might not get done or finished. But if they see the book is already complete and it's just for printing, then they have much more confidence that they're going to get this final product in their hands eventually. Yeah.
That's kind of what we did with X-Machina a bit too. You know, we pretty much just funded the creation of it, and then the Kickstarter is really funding distribution.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's also just, you know, create towards it and then like think about the plan, think about the marketing plan of like, okay, this will come out by Christmas. What are we going to do? We're going to do a shirt. Let's do a poster. Let's do a Christmas song. Let's do all this. And we're able to, you know, share ideas and figure it out and then come out with the plan of like, all right, from launch day one, what are we doing here? Okay, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we showcasing here? As long as we have a plan and as long as people are getting excited. And it's also a nice way of seeing what works and what doesn't. Like these podcasts coming on with you guys and everybody else who've been very, you know, I'm very thankful that we were able to go on their shows. You know, that helps because that spread the word and it helps, you know, us make connections too, because like with Misty, I want her to get this opportunity of knowing all these people. So then when she's ready to do all that stuff, she could just reach out and be like, hey, remember you had me on the podcast? And then done. That's it. That her stuff is, then she'll be able to fly and go on her own. And then she'll be too big for me to work with. And then I'll be that.
and I also think that having the book completed before you start your campaign, that's one less thing you have to worry about. So you can focus on promoting the book. You don't have to like constant emails. I mean, it's a lot to juggle. And I think having the book completed maybe helps with the stress and management of the campaign itself. And you can really focus your energy a lot more to marketing your book and pushing it. And you'll have more time to go on to podcasts because you're not bogged down with work and you're like, oh, I'm so busy, you know, trying to like, I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot to get
a lot.
You
just got to set expectations, set realistic goals, and just do it. You know what I mean? Like we definitely had some. I know Misty was a little bit nervous about, you know, doing this for the first time, but I was like, listen, I'm right here with you. I will not let this fail. I will not, even if it does fail, I'm here. You know what I mean? We'll be okay. Because through failure you learn. You know what I mean? If you're not if you're not afraid of that, then there's no stopping you. There's nothing you can't do. So I've been very lucky. And I'm very lucky that you're the voice of reason because I'm just like, yeah, comics for $2. Fuck it. Like, why not? We'll see what happens.
Steve was like, look, what's the worst that can happen? We created something totally fucking rad. Yeah. And, you know, that's the worst that could happen is like we created something really totally rad. What else?
My words exactly. Too. Those are my words exactly.
Another quick question about your project, the anthology series. Do you have a working title yet? Do you have any ideas of what you might call it, or can you share that, or is it still under wraps?
It's a one-man show over here, so I'll just say it's called Misty Graves' Book of Fates. It's like Misty Graves, me.
Grave, a grave, nice.
And it's
Misty, like the mist in a graveyard, like it sets the tone for sure. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
I'm like creating this character for myself of, you know, a writer who crawled out of a crypt and started doing this.
Nice.
Oh, how many are going to be about insurance fraud? Like I gotta know right now.
only like the majority of them are insurance fraud and wife murder, but there's a few other good ones in there too.
Nice.
So when you were talking about your dad, I thought you were gonna be like my dad, Dave Graves, like something that.
Steve Graves. Oh, here, wait. I've actually got the actual typewriter box.
Oh, that he wrote that on. Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
What does it say?
So
First, ring the reader's bell.
Get attention.
And then it says quality and then entertain in like big capital letters.
Nice. So you keep that around as inspiration.
Make them feel
to motivate.
Pity. Make them feel pity and fear. Aristotle.
And then the other side says bacon, eggs. It's just the grocery list.
Hey, you never know when inspiration will hit you, right? So
interconnectedness, redistribution, change,
complementarity, interdeterminancy. He was a writing teacher in Kansas State for like years back in I think the 70s. So this could be from back then. Back when they still used typewriters, so you can. That's awesome. It's pretty old.
Nice. Do you use a typewriter?
Wait, what are you supposed to write on now? Like, are you supposed to use a computer?
The
skulls of I don't believe it.
The skulls of your enemies. Is what you write.
Just one letter on each skull too. Just.
I did try to use a typewriter for a little bit in art school, just being kind of pretentious. So like writing a surrealist novel.
Yeah. But it's something you can use like if ever you go to cons, right? Like,
oh hell yeah, that's a great idea.
Because if you're not an artist and you're a writer, you don't have as much to offer. Like an artist will come in and they have original pages, they can do a sketch. Yeah. But if you have something on a typewriter, like notes that you made, like put them out, and then when you go to cons, you can have like the person you work with, like if you're not an artist, just do a quick little sketch, and you can sell those off as extra cash. You know, like artists do. You know, I don't know.
I was telling Misty she has to lean into this character and like just appear at cons, like you'll see like a crypt, and she'll just like come out of the crypt.
Well, I'm already.
So you're going to have yourself drawn into the book, and you're going to actually kind of narrate the stories. Is that kind of going to be the theme? Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
So is Elvira a hero of yours?
Yeah.
Very much so, eh? Yeah. So you're taking inspiration from her.
Yeah, she's an icon, and I know I'm not the only.
For sure.
I'm not the only lady, lad, lass, laddie, anyone. You know, there's a lot of people out there who take inspiration from Elvira's making of herself. You know?
Yeah, it's an amazing story. It's a great story. Yeah.
Yeah, she's wonderful. She's a big inspiration for me, and I hope I can continue on in the spirit of horror hosts and horror hostessing, and complete with terrible rhyming puns and all of the good stuff that we just love about that genre.
For sure. Yeah. Nice. I dig it. So Steve, how about you? What I know last time we spoke, you said you had follow-up to Slowpoke's Brewing. Is that still going to be a reality? Are you still working on that? How is that coming about?
Slowpokes 2 will happen. I can confirm that. I am not going to say when, but it is on its way. Definitely on its way, because I know people back Slowpokes got killed in that. They were going to get murdered in this one, which is great. And then I just finished another project. But when it's time, I will unveil, and you guys will be the first to know.
Nice, cool, very cool.
And then hopefully, if this works out, I would love to work with Misty again. I would love to work with some other people and see what happens. But I'm just seeing where it takes me. Like, this is the only thing in my life where I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where it's going to go, where it's going to take me, but I'm going to just enjoy the ride and not worry about expectations about anything, because a lot of people have in their head. It's like, oh, I need to be Marvel to be a success. I need to be DC to be a success. I think just creating comics, you're a success. If you're putting your work in and you made this thing, you're a success. Like, I know people have that, what is it, imposter syndrome. It's like, you're not an imposter, you're an inspiration. Because how many people can say that they got to that point where they created a comic, put it out, sold it, people bought it, and I don't know. I've just been very lucky, and I've been very lucky that people are starting to come on the ride with me. So like with Slowpokes, people jump from that to Zombie Date Night, but I was lucky that people who have never read me before jumped on that. And then same thing for this, where it's like people from both Slowpokes and Zombie Date Night are joining me for this, but we're getting a new fan base as well. So it's just, I just want to keep creating and having fun, and I'm going to keep doing that until people take me down, or like people are like, I'm done with I'm done with his bullshit, and I don't want to see Slowpoke 7 or 8 or anything like that. Like, but I also wanted to make sure that with doing these different titles that like I love Slowpokes, going to do Slowpokes until I can't do it anymore, 100%. But I want to make sure that people know that I can do other things as well. And then I'll take you on this other ride, but like I will take you back on that ride too when the time is right.
Nice.
Awesome.
Very
But yeah,
good,
I hear you about that. I got this buddy who's had like, I don't know, 4 or 5 books put out by Dark Horse, and he's always talking about how he's never made it. And I'm just like, dude, like you've been published by Dark Horse how many
Dark
times?
Horse
He was
is
like,
pretty good.
yeah, but I'm like,
what?
what? Yeah, that's about as far as I'd want to go, to tell you the truth. Dark Horse or Image, I wouldn't want to be published by anybody bigger than that, because otherwise then it's not going to be my books.
If you got paid making a comic, you made it. You did fine. You're doing fine.
Yeah.
I mean, for any of our titles, if any publishers want to check out Ex Machina, or any publishers want to take a look at us into the future, creating whatever, like we'll always listen. But at the end of the day, whatever is best for the story, whatever is the most fun is something I will do. And I mean, I don't know if Misty will do that too, but I think we share the same sensibilities of just, we got to create, we got to have fun. That's it. Because I mean, we all have day jobs, and we like our day jobs, but this is a freedom thing. Like this is, we could do whatever we want. Nobody's telling us no. We want Santa to do cocaine, great. We want Santa to beat up robots, great.
And especially because it's self-funded, it's Kickstarter, it's crowdfunded, self-funded. We have that freedom, you know. We don't have to have bosses telling us to like tone it down.
Editor, no editor saying you can or can't do this.
Misty is an incredible editor, and you know I'm very lucky to work with her. I mean, I'm okay at writing, like in terms of editing, like we edit ourselves. Like I'll read it with my girlfriend, she'll help me with that. But with Misty, I will probably hire her to edit at some point or do something like that, because it just was. I remember writing stuff, and she'd be like, "Hold on, like let's fix this. let's make it better. Let's make it grammatically correct. Let's make it pop. Let's make it." But I would go back and be like, all right, let's shorten this down. Like what's, less is more, drawing from our strengths to just create the best product we can. And I think that's all it takes. I mean, it's very daunting, especially in comics. Like I feel like just jumping into comics is so scary. It's just a scary idea. It's like, where do you start? Who do you do? What do you do? But just, you just got to make something you want to make and not worry. Because at the end of the day, you'll find your audience if you put love in it. And we put love in this, and we're finding our audience, which is really cool.
Yeah. I found Steve because the energy of Slowpokes was the energy that I was attracted to from like a comics writing standpoint, where it's like anything can happen kind of energy, that like he was like Johnny was talking about, that sort of reinvigoration of like zaniness and silliness, and like you don't have to over explain every little thing. It's like there's sloths and they're fast, so you don't really need to like know a lot more, It's so I just his energy, that energy, I'm all about it. And I'm excited to continue on in that spirit.
That's how I met Steve. I was still pretty new to Kickstarter. I think Slowpokes was my 5th or 6th one that I backed. Wow. But I was scrolling through and I saw the sloth with the bloody claw just holding the head, and I'm just like, That's getting my money. And then I'm the only person who did the challenge, but on National Sloth Day, he sent out this PDF of like the of a sloth mask, and he asked us to take pictures of ourselves, and like I actually did it and sent it to him, and he's like, "Let me come on your channel and talk to you about my book," and I'm like, "Oh, I don't do interviews yet," but like I wish I did because I really feel I missed an opportunity there, but because we were gonna wear our masks and talk to each other, but I had no idea how to run StreamYard or anything at the time, but. I love that you did that, and like that's another thing I wish other people on Kickstarter and did books would do too. Is like find that there's a weird sloth holiday and be like, "Hey, here's a goofy mask for my book, and here help me promote it with this fun way." You know what I mean? I thought that that was just so clever, and nobody paid attention. Tragically, you know what I mean? But screw them, they missed out. It was a
it's okay.
wonderful.
Hey, listen, it's I am thankful for everybody who read. The fact that more than one person that weren't people that I'm friends with read this thing. Like I for Slowpokes, I was always I just wanted to put it out because I did the class and I already did it. It's already done. Why not? I was looking for like $2,000. It ended up making close to 10. So I was like, I'm going to use this money to fund, Zombie Date Night came from that. That's why that was 32 pages, and just continue to have fun because that's all it's about. Like I would love to write I'm always up. So if anybody wants to hire me to write something cool, like I'm always willing to listen. But there's just I like creating my own stuff, and we have our own IP now with X-Machina. Like that's ours. All that stuff, 50-50 down the middle. We could do whatever we want with it. We could listen. If all else fails, we could just sell those shirts and posters and Christmas cards year round. People will buy that. We'll make our money back based on that. But
we'll come out with a pumpkin spice, like a line of candles.
Action figures. Like I would buy a Slay action figure. That thing would be badass.
Listen, one day, who knows? But for now, we just want to connect. We want to talk to people. We want to just have fun. Like
and you're
life's too short.
On social media, like anyone who doesn't know you, you're very engaging on social media. You're fun. You're easy to talk to. I mean, anyone who'll engage with you, you're very forthcoming. You give a lot of your time to people, and I think it's wonderful. You connect with your fans like really well, and I mean, you don't see that in very many creators. A lot of like, and I get it.
I just imagine that mean curmudgeon. Fuck off.
No, but I mean, it's people have different personalities. Some people are more introverted, so they'll interact less. But you're a very outgoing guy, and you're a fun person to interact with, even regardless of the comics. I mean, you're witty, you're fun, you make good jokes. I mean, it just, even if they don't back your book, go follow Steve on Twitter or Misty. I'm just getting to know Misty now, and I could see like the personalities and how you guys work together. I could see how this works, now that I've talked to both of you, and I'm looking forward to your future projects as they come out.
Misty's going to be a star in this comic industry. I'm gonna say that right now.
Oh yeah.
And if there's any Comic-Con somewhere where whenever it's safer, I guess, book us for X-Machina. We'll be there. Book all three of us. Book me, Misty, and Lane. We'll do a round table. We'll talk comics. We'll talk independent comics. We'll talk Christmas comics. We'll talk horror comics. Whatever you want, because I'm itching for that first Comic-Con opportunity. And I had one this year, but because of the coronavirus and everything that's happening, my friend who does our T-shirts, he's worried about his daughter and everything like that. So like, of course, like I want to make sure that it's safe. But I'm itching for that Comic-Con opportunity because I feel like that would just be so much fun to meet all the comic people, and for people that don't know who I am, be like, hey, killer sloths, hey, zombies and dates, hey, Santa fighting robots. Like, we want to take you on this ride. Come join us.
Yeah. I want to continue to hold it down for the zany writers out there.
We want to make sure that comics are positive, because for people that are grumpy and are mean to people, like why do you need to do that? There's no reason for that at all. It takes 5 minutes. It takes 3 seconds to be nice to somebody, or to take the picture, or to sign something, or to just give them an experience of like, hey, me and you were talking. We're having this experience right now, and if it's a good experience, I'll remember that. You know what I mean? That's good.
For sure.
It's like that. It's personality. It's politics. People have to like you to like what you write, perhaps.
Exactly. And also with all that, you can get away with a lot more mean shit if you're nice to everybody.
Just behind the scenes.
Yeah, I was thinking about I was telling Misty the other day, I was like, Tom Hanks, right? If Tom Hanks was mean to somebody or was nobody would ever like believe them. Like I feel like Tom Hanks would like slash tires and be like, no one will ever believe you.
That's a danger though. Like you have to worry about being too nice because then people will start a conspiracy about you that you're actually like a crazy baby eater or something.
Tom Hanks kicked the old lady down the stairs and he just did this.
Yeah, so you got to be a little bit human too, though. You got to be a little human.
Going back to our comic, you got to be human to beat the robots.
Yeah. So, did you want to plug your Kickstarter one last time before we sign out? I'm sure you guys, holiday season, you probably have some stuff to do. So let's.
Oh yeah, that.
yeah. So let's give this Kickstarter one last shout out so people know what it's about.
The Trojan horse of niceness.
That's a good one.
Just in case they
sticking to it.
Just in case they came on late, let's give them a little recap of what we've been talking about here. So, do you guys have your sales pitch? Let's give it to them.
So you heard it from me. Let's hear it from Misty this time because I talk too much.
All right. X-Machina is a whimsical Western set in the year 2045. Santa compromises his inner goodness, his inherent goodness, in order to make it snow in the North Pole one last time. And he does that by selling his Christmas magic to a tech company that uses it to power an app that decides if people are naughty or nice. And what could possibly go wrong, right?
Yeah. Find out in X-Machina.
Find out
live on Kickstarter. And we got everything. We got shirts. We got posters. We got a theme song. We got Christmas cards. You can get killed in the next one. So anything that suits your holiday fancy, we got it. And, we're almost close to funding. And thank you to everybody who's funded already. And we hope you take a chance on us.
Link is in the description, y'all. Link is in the description. And that is X-Machina, which I got to say again, man, I love that title. I love that you guys turned that phrase into something clever again. And wow, what an amazing episode. It was truly wonderful to meet you, Misty. I really enjoyed having you on, and I can't wait to check out your what tales? What's your comic going to be called again?
Misty Graves' Book of Fates.
Book of Fates. There we go. Yeah. Cannot wait to check that out. And it is great to have you back, Steve. I hope this episode was a better experience for you than our first one.
Listen, the first episode was awesome. So you got to understand, that first episode, I have never had anybody read my stuff and then talk to me about it. Like people have read it and been like, oh, it's fun. I like this or like that. But nobody has you guys took a deep dive into this happened. Why did this? And I was floored. You guys think it was a bad thing? It was awesome. That's why I'm back, because I was like, these guys read comics, they understand what's going on. Heart, they're friendly, fun, and I will always be a friend of the show. And thank you for taking a chance on having me as one of your first few episodes. Just really appreciate that. And this is always a pleasant experience. Maybe we'll do a zombie date night one down the line, or we'll do another X-Machina one when people have read it. But I'll always be around, and I hope Misty comes on the show on her own as well.
Excellent.
And more than welcome, both of you. This was the 31st episode of Pink Buzz, another really stellar interview. Tomorrow night, we are going to be doing our Naughty or Nice holiday special, which is Joe's Baby. Joe, you want to kind of give everybody kind of a preview of what to expect from whatever is going to happen tomorrow night, because it's going to be wild?
Well, basically, everyone does a year-end episode where they give their top picks of the year. Well, we're going to do a little bit of a twist on it. We're going to go with a Christmas theme for our end of year. we're going to do a naughty or nice list, or naughty and nice. So we're going to go with the nice list is all our best, our favorites, and we're going to go with one naughty for each category. Something that maybe didn't live up to our expectations, maybe disappointed us, or maybe it could be naughty in a good way. We don't know. We'll see. It's up for interpretation. So we're going to have the whole crew there. Fulci's going to be there. Goose is going to be there. Myself and Johnny. The whole crew is going to be there. We're going to give you our favorite content of 2021, whether it be movies, shows, comics, music, favorite publishers, favorite Kickstarters, you name it. We're going to be covering a bunch of categories, and we're going to be doing it the Pink Buzz way, man. No, we don't really cover much big two. It's mostly indies and Kickstarter. So if you're into that stuff, come tune in tomorrow. If you don't have much going on in Christmas, come hang out with us, and don't be alone on Christmas, man. Come hang out with us. We'll have a good time. Join us in the chats. Let us know what your favorite stuff was, and we'll have a good time tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be throwing it down with our naughty and nice list.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be tomorrow night, and we can't wait. It's going to be explosive. And you know how we do it on Pink Buzz. This is a product of graphic vandalism, so you know what that means. That means do not stop reading. Don't stop reading. Never stop reading. Don't stop watching awesome horror films, Christmas-themed horror films, because it is Christmas time. And don't stop listening to excellent music like Give Us the Snow. Until next time, which will be tomorrow night, keep it classy.
Also, Merry Christmas.